Settle down, Socks. You're going to sit nicely. Can we see you over there? Look. Socks is tired. We had a late night because of DJ Jeremy being up all night, didn't we? And we fell asleep over our Mary Higgins Clark at 2 o'clock in the morning, didn't we, Socks? 10 pages shy of the ending and all the revelations, but we couldn't stay up any longer. We were so tired. And this morning we finished it with our breakfast. And now I'm in the middle of cooking Sunday lunch. It's mid-afternoon on Sunday. It looks pretty grey and dull outside, so I'm not going to go out today until I have to, until we go out this evening. This is the Mary Higgins Clark that I've been reading the last few days and enjoying every single minute of. We'll meet again. And last night, before going out, I popped on the first hour or so of the TV adaptation, the movie. Really interesting to see how they switch things about and condense characters and events and change them and make them in some ways more dramatic with car chases and less dramatic with characters who are kind of utterly simplified to the extent that you wouldn't, on watching it cold, understand what was going on at all. The character of oh God, I've forgotten everyone's name. Molly, who is wrongly accused and jailed for killing her husband, is full of tension and self-doubt and kind of impending madness. And you would never think that from the woman who plays her in the movie. She just kind of ditzes along, being glamorous and looking a bit headachy. I still enjoy those kinds of adaptations anyway. They're very much like Christmas movies, and I think on the same channel. But of course, the book always cuts deeper. Even though, as I said before, these are characters who are kind of thumbnail sketches. They're like characters in magazine stories. We're told immediately what to expect from them. We're given their history in a kind of thumbnail sketch. It's like squinting down a telescope, down a microscope, not a microscope because they're not that in depth, the wrong end of a telescope to see them. But there's something about the way she shifts this around from bunch of characters to bunch of characters, and there's a kind of a delight in outrage, in what shocking thing is going to happen next. When the woman is stabbed in the car park of the diner, we don't see it coming. I didn't. And it's still such a shock. And the fact that, oh God, now Molly's going to be accused of that as well. It's getting even worse. And the idea that the heroine and her closest friends are plunged deeper and deeper into disaster so that you think they'll never get out. It makes it all the sweeter at the end when suddenly all the villains declare themselves. And then it's kind of like this weird eugenics Nazi scientific lab. And all the Nazis trying to blow each other up. And then suddenly someone who you'd never suspect becoming the real villain. So the whole thing is completely ludicrous and really enjoyable. So much so, I've gone straight onto another Mary Higgins Clark. This one looks even more fun. It's about one of those seducers who goes to meet women on cruise liners and takes them under his wing. Kind of successful but lonely women, and then he does for them, and there's murder after murder. And we're following a radio psychologist in New York who gets onto this scandal and starts investigating. And again, it's a cast of, dozens, so that it's quite hard to pin them all down at the start. And there's psychics and disreputable fathers and friends who are going to get in the way, and lawyers. Yeah, it's all thoroughly enjoyable. And I've just discovered that she has these Christmas mystery novels as well that she writes with her daughter. I'd forgotten that they were a thing as well. So now that I'm, and I have to admit this, making up a pile of Christmas books, besides my usual kind of seasonal favourites, I'm making up a pile of new Christmas books that I haven't read yet. There might be some more Mary Higgins Clark on there. Has anybody read her amongst people watching this? Am I being crazy? There's something about, they're not quite cozy mysteries, but it's a similar kind of thing. They're a mystery thriller series, sometimes with characters recurring. There's something so cozy about that. And I was thinking about the business of bookshops. When you go in and it's a bewildering mass of everything shouting at you for attention, to have an author like that who's got a big backlist and you know there's a corner that belongs to that particular writer in that particular genre, it's so reassuring. It's like your little corner, your cozy corner of the bookshop or the library, where there are still titles by that person you haven't read. And what a lovely reassuring thing that is. You know the kinds of things they're going to write about, the secrets that let you into their particular kingdom. And that to me is fascinating and reassuring, and a feeling that you will go in and into a place like that, and there's a bit of it that will always be yours, a bit where you'll always be welcome. That's what having favourite authors means, I think, for me. Where you know the rules of their game. They might surprise you, but overall it's welcoming and reassuring. And I think Mary Higgins Clark might be like that for me. There's something about the way she does mystery stuff that and the world she conjures that appeals to me. It's a bit like things like Heart to Heart. These slightly well-meaning rich people solving mysteries because of course they can. What else? I have to go and finish this cooking. Oh, this arrived in the post just after I did my filming yesterday. Look at the size of this. The Bright Sword, Lev Grossman. His take on the Arthurian legend, which looks fantastic to me. It begins with an epigram from the Holy Grail from Monty Python, which is great. Irreverent and with a gutsy beginning as well. I read the first couple of pages. Begins with a good fight. So at some point, that's going to be read this autumn, hopefully. In a way, a bit of mystery and myth is good for the autumn months. As you build up towards horror and ghosts in October, which begins this week. So I've been thinking about what kinds of stuff I want to read for that. And I think Christmas reading might begin in November. This was an epiphany I had yesterday, that actually the right time for Christmas reading is probably November, when you really want to enjoy the oncoming Christmas feelings. Once you get to December, you're kind of a bit panicked and beset by it, and maybe you've had enough of Christmas by then. I like the idea of building up to it with reading things like James Lovegrove's Cthulhu Christmas Sherlock Holmes book, or Jeanette Winterson's short stories, or more Mary Higgins Clark, or some Golden Age detectives set at Christmas. Those are the kind of things I've got set aside for the festive season this year, which is still months away, I know, but we can start when we like, can't we? Because it's all imaginary. Okay, say goodbye, socks, and you'll see everybody later on. No, he's not going to. I will say goodbye, and let me know in the comments below what your reading plans are for October. Is it all going to be spooky? Are you relieved to be able to go fully spooky? I kind of am, but then I'm kind of, I've got a book of essays on Tim Burton that I've meant to read for a long time. I've got a Murder, She Wrote spin-off novel about the next generation. So spooky mysteries as well as just horror, I think is good. That's good for me. Autumnal. Okay, goodbye, and I will see you again soon in the next episode. Goodbye.